And to take us forward for this special coverage of the elections, joining me is Aditi Tandon, a senior journalist, associate editor from the Tribune. Good morning and welcome, Aditi, to the program. Let me also welcome a team of reporters. Akshay Dongre is joining us from Ranchi, Jharkhand, and Shama is joining us from Mumbai, Maharashtra. Good morning and welcome to both of you. Aditi, let me come to you first. Talking about Jharkhand and Maharashtra, big election results. What is at stake in these elections? How do you see it?
See, the first thing that is at stake is the reputation of stalwarts from across these two states. Because you see, in Jharkhand, the Chief Minister Hemant Soren is contesting, former Chief Minister Champai Soren is contesting against the JMM, his former party, and he had switched over. So in Maharashtra, you see, the X factor, of course, we all know, we've debated it for a long time now, is that, there is the NCP that is divided now, and then there's the Shiv Sena that's divided now. Today, I think the voters will cast their ballot to declare which Shiv Sena is real or which NCP is real, because the real test in democracy of who is the inheritor of a political legacy of a leader such as Balasaheb Thackeray or, Sharad Pawar, is the court of the people. So the reputations of bigwigs are at stake. Also in Maharashtra, what is at stake is who will be the big Maratha leader going forward. Because you see, there is a sort of fluidity in Maharashtra politics, we all know that, and Maratha politics is extremely volatile right now. Maratha quota agitation has lent, more momentum to this particular narrative. So is Chief Minister Eknath Shinde the real Maratha leader, or is Uddhav Thackeray the real Maratha leader? Who is the real chief of the Shiv Sena? Who is, worthy of the legacy of Balasaheb Thackeray? So on the individual level, the political reputations of these stalwarts are at stake. At the party level, of course, Shubhendu, we all know what is at stake is the entire political career of, I would say, Rahul Gandhi, because he has lost, he was leading the campaign in Haryana and he lost an easy state. Two-term anti-incumbency could not be converted into votes by the Congress, even though the exit polls had predicted a big win for the Congress. But we all know that the BJP struck a hat-trick. So what will happen to the India bloc going forward? If they lose both the states, they lose the momentum that they had gained in the Lok Sabha. But if the India bloc manages to reverse, the BJP's winning streak, then of course it takes them further into the next year's election cycle when you have a very important state going to polls, Delhi.
Right.
Shubhendu.
Absolutely. Let's now go across to our reporters, get some updates on the ground. Akshay, let's come to you first. Akshay is joining us from Ranchi, Jharkhand. Tell us how the state is geared up for the big counting day.
Well, Shubhendu, let me show you around where I'm standing, and this is in fact the counting center for the district of Ranchi, which is also the capital. So you can see all the kind of arrangements that have been done. It seems like the entire polling booth, the counting booth has been fortified by the police personnel, by the Central Armed Police Forces that are here. Heavily armed guards are also present. There are several police officers that are present all around. You can see party volunteers, police officials checking the people who are getting inside the polling booth. There are signs that say that there are certain items that will be restricted, including mobile phones, any kind of sharp objects. So all of those guidelines have also been laid out here right at the gate, so that people, you can see, taking out their belts, people taking out their mobile phones, leaving it outside the counting center. So no interference at all at any level is acceptable as far as this polling booth is concerned. In fact, when it comes to the functioning of Election Commission of India, this is the modus operandi almost everywhere across the country, and there are utmost measures taken to ensure that no kind of interference is done as far as the procedure of counting is concerned, so that people, the polling officials as well as the public can be rest assured regarding the authenticity of the counting, and there can be no interference as far as the procedure is concerned. And that is why the heavy security that you see is not just here, but it's all over the places where the counting is taking place. So that is one aspect of it. The other aspect also remains the kind of security that has been beefed up across the state. Now, Jharkhand has been struggling with Naxal problem for several decades, and there have been certain issues, there have been certain sensitive areas, and in those areas as well, different deployments are required and have been done by the Election Commission as well, depending on what kind of sensitivity and what kind of threat perception is there. That remains for the entire state, and that is why elaborate arrangements have been done, not only at the part of the armed forces, but also at the part of the counting officials of the Election Commission of India that are in fact the backbone of this entire procedure. Back to you, Shubhendra.
Right. Akshay, also give us some insight into the political contest. What kind of challenge does incumbent Chief Minister Hemant Soren faces from a BJP alliance?
Well, Shubhendu, it's very interesting to see that Babulal Marandi, who was also the first Chief Minister of the state, is contesting against the incumbent Chief Minister. The incumbent Chief Minister, as we had our expert talking about, has certain challenges when it comes to this polling. It's not just the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha and the Congress Party alliance that is facing the issues of the anti-incumbency, but also there are certain aspects that the Bharatiya Janata Party has been highlighting as far as the problems, the core issues of the state are concerned. And one of the most important issues that has in fact taken center stage this time around has been infiltration into the state, especially of Rohingya population that has been infiltrating from Bangladesh, and that had become a core issue for many people as well. There is populism, that one issue, in certain areas. Communalism has also been an issue in the state. Infrastructure development, stagnancy when it comes to the building of roads of state, the stagnancy in terms of development work has taken a center stage, and that is why it seems that Hemant Soren is going to face significant challenge from Babulal Marandi, the first Chief Minister of the state, who diverged from the BJP at a point of time, but then again merged his party, the Jharkhand Vikas Morcha, once again with the BJP, and is now touted as the chief ministerial face. So it remains to be seen whether the Congress and the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha will be able to repeat their performance of 2019 election, where they managed to get 46 seats together, and this time around the focus will also be on how the return of Babulal Marandi to the party, to the Bharatiya Janata Party, will give a boost to the party, and what kind of permutation and combinations will be made, Shubhendu, to win the state.
Let's now go across to Shama, who's joining us from Mumbai, home to Bollywood. And Shama, like a Bollywood potboiler, a clash of multi-star alliances in Maharashtra.
Well, yes, and this clash is all set to, unravel itself, because today is the D-Day, and we understand that the polling pattern, and as you are aware, as you must have read, that within the last 2 hours of the polling that was held on November 20, the percentage actually got higher, and we also understanding that this time in a lot of constituencies, in a lot of seats, the polling percentage of women voters have also been higher. So we can understand what has been the pattern and how the political decisions or policies have affected the voters' pattern or the voters' mindset. Now, while we are talking about the unraveling of today's D-Day, it's 8 a.m. already, and the counting has begun, and as you've already mentioned that the postal ballots will be counted first, and all the polling centers are totally geared up. Totally heavy security is deployed at all the 288 centers in Maharashtra. In Mumbai itself, there are 36, Mumbai city and Mumbai suburban, there are 36 counting centers, and totally under the control of police, and we are also understanding that the EVMs are also being brought there from the strong rooms. Apart from that, we are understanding that the exit polls are saying one thing, which is the majority will fall in the kitty of Mahayuti, that is BJP, Shiv Sena of Eknath Shinde, and NCP of Ajit Pawar. However, if we are to take lessons from the Lok Sabha elections and Lok Sabha exit polls, we are not to totally rely on this, because we did see a twist and turn in the exit polls results last Lok Sabha. So we'll have to wait and watch and wait for the trends that are coming out from the ECI website. We are also understanding that there have been statements coming out from the Maha Vikas Aghadi, and they are also confident of their win. Some of them have went on saying, including Sharad Pawar and Sanjay Raut, the NCP, Sharad Pawar, he's the supremo of NCP, and also Sanjay Raut, he's the Shiv Sena UBT leader. They have gone on saying that the Mahavikas Aghadi will be easily securing more than 157 to 162 seats in this particular assembly elections, which is obviously far-fetched and very confident. But yes, we will have to wait and watch. But there is one thing, if you're talking about currently where I am standing right now, this is the Congress office, Congress headquarters in Mumbai, one of the major offices, and this is totally empty. So we are still waiting for any top leader, any major leader from the Congress party to come here and at least tell us what will happen throughout the day. However, this is not the same scenario at other offices in like the BJP. So, you know, there is also
right, Shyama, we'll also have to look at the trends now.
An understanding.
Shyama, stay with us while we look at those initial trends that are coming in of the postal ballots for both Maharashtra and Jharkhand. We're, of course, flashing it at the bottom of the screen for you to look at. But let's look at the trends that are coming in. First counting has begun for the state assembly elections in Jharkhand and Maharashtra. Let's also look at those initial numbers as they're coming in. These are postal ballots first. Maharashtra voted for 288 assembly seats. Election held on November 20th. Let's look at the trends as they're coming in. The trends for Jharkhand, out of 81 seats, 9 seats trends are coming in. BJP ahead on 5, AJSU on 1, JMM on 3 seats. Maharashtra, BJP leading on 20 seats and Congress on 3. Maharashtra BJP's Devendra Fadnavis is leading at the moment. These are initial trends coming in, just the postal ballots that are counted in the first half an hour as we see it. Nana Patole is leading from the Sakoli seat in Maharashtra. The initial trends have just sort of started coming in. Now 31 seats trends are coming in Maharashtra. For Jharkhand, about 10 seats out of 81 trends are on. BJP is leading on 20 seats as we speak. The Congress on 3. BJP's Devendra Fadnavis, former Chief Minister, later Deputy Chief Minister, is leading on his seat at the moment. Nana Patole is leading from the Sakoli seats. In Jharkhand, also trends are coming in for 11 seats out of 81. BJP there also sharply ahead on 7 seats. Meanwhile, Maharashtra, BJP is leading on 20 seats, Congress on 3. Shyama is with us from Mumbai. Shyama, those initial leads for the BJP sharply ahead. These are, of course, just initial leads, postal ballots, but important contest also taking place between the two Shiv Senas and the two NCPs.
Well, yes, Shubhendu, and as the guest in the studio, she mentioned that this is a real test, and this test, the results of this test will prove which is the real NCP and which is the real Shiv Sena. Because all this while, since the breakup of these two parties, separation of these two parties, everyone has been, criticizing, and each party faction has been saying that their own faction is the real Shiv Sena or the real NCP. So we will have to see how it goes, because the Lok Sabha elections, if we are to consider that, we did see that after Congress, it was Uddhav Thackeray who got more seats than Eknath Shinde. So we will have to see over here as well. Also talking about the strongholds of these stalwarts, as you were mentioning, that Congress, the Congress stalwart Nana Patole, he is winning from Sakole. So these are areas which is considered to be their strongholds, and no matter what, how the political scenario is changing, they will obviously win because they have that affiliation with the people, they have their connection with the people. So in Mumbai also, there are so many seats, including the seat in Malabar Hill, where Mangal Prabhat Lodha, he is standing. He is the minister as well of the state. So he's been winning since six
Shyama, we'll look at those key seats and candidates in the conversation ahead. Aditi, I'd like to come to you for a quick comment. Looking at Maharashtra and the initial trends as they're coming in, your thoughts on the manner in which BJP appears to be, at least for these postal ballots, racing ahead, and what are lessons that they must have learned from the Lok Sabha elections? A similar contest took place there, at least the alliances.
You know, it's a very interesting scenario, Shubhendu, because if you look at Haryana, you know, the BJP replicated a lot of what it did in Haryana for Maharashtra. For example, to start with, they went into the election with a popular community leader. In Haryana, they had Nayab Singh Saini, whom they did not change for elections. You know, he stayed the chief minister. He was repeated as the chief minister. Similarly, in Maharashtra, they have Eknath Shinde as the chief minister. It's very uncharacteristic of the BJP to go into an election with an ally as CM. So that was part of the strategic decision. In fact, that was the first political call the Prime Minister took when the party started planning for Maharashtra. So community equations were sorted out because a Maratha leader was projected. Devendra Fadnavis is a Brahmin. So he has his limitations in Maharashtra politics. That was the first thing. So they gained that, community edge by promoting Eknath Shinde as the face of the alliance. Secondly, what they did was the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh openly campaigned for the party in Maharashtra. Everybody who's been to the field knows that Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, which openly campaigned the last time for the BJP, was at the time of emergency. So I can say for a fact that the cadres of the Sangh were out in the streets. They were unapologetic about it. They were open about it. Posters were there. Everything was there. Thirdly, what I saw was why the BJP seems to be having an edge. These are early trends, so that has to be stated clearly, is that they got the strategies right. For example, in Haryana, they dropped a lot of MLAs because they had done their surveys that dropping MLAs will help. In Maharashtra, they adopted an opposite strategy, retaining most MLAs. So, the strategies were in place, alliance was largely cohesive, and the political narratives were mixed. So you had a Yogi Adityanath saying something, in his own polarizing style, of course. Then you had Amit Shah going to Maharashtra to release the manifesto. So you had a bouquet of promises in the manifesto. And I think the swing vote in both states, in fact, as we go forward, we'll realize could be the women voters, because they are the ones who have of late started turning the election winds. We saw it in Madhya Pradesh, where most exit polls had predicted a Congress victory, but you had the BJP
important to mention
win.
that record number of voter turnout has been registered in Maharashtra in particular.
Women votes.
Most in 3 decades. Aditi, also the manner in which the alliances again in Maharashtra are stitched up, these are alliances that the state has never seen before. Differing, almost opposing ideologies packed together into alliances. There is a NCP, Shiv Sena, and a BJP, and there's a Congress, Shiv Sena, and NCP. How does that play out? This is something that the state has never seen before.
It's a very interesting question, Shubhendu, and a very incisive one. There are no easy answers to this, except that power brings people together. The only glue on both sides seems to be staying in power. Why did Uddhav Thackeray leave a mandate that was given for the BJP and Shiv Sena in 2019? It was a mandate for a pre-poll alliance of the BJP and Shiv Sena. But he did not have qualms about betraying the BJP at the time for the Chief Minister's chair, and he easily shifted his sides and went with ideologically opposite NCP, ideologically opposite Congress. Now, fast forward to 2022, you have an Eknath Shinde splitting the Shiv Sena. Of course, Shiv Sena and BJP are ideological brothers, so there is no problem in them coming together. But Ajit Pawar coming to the BJP is interesting. So what brings them together? In fact, the role of Sharad Pawar, the NCP Supremo, is extremely interesting, because Ajit Pawar has been saying for a long time that Mr. Pawar, Senior Pawar, was part of the discussions to join the BJP openly for a very long time. And these have been discussions in the public domain. So what my understanding says is that Mr. Pawar, Sharad Pawar, has a very convenient take on politics, that we have internal democracy and we are all right to stay in NCP, Sharad Chandra Pawar, myself, my daughter Supriya Sule, my nephew Yogendra Pawar. And it's fine if Ajit Pawar wants to go to the BJP. It's his right. It's an internal democracy party. So he's free to take his call. So it's a very convenient family,
Right. Let's get some updates
really.
From Maharashtra, from Mumbai. I'm told from outside BJP office. My colleague Shishir Shelar is joining us from Mumbai, Maharashtra. Shishir, those very sharp initial leads for the BJP. What is the mood at the party office?
Well, absolutely. At this time, all the parties are quite cautious here. Right now, I'm standing in front of BJP office, and let me show you one of the banner which has been put in outside the BJP office. It shows that the results of Haryana is just a trailer, but the main picture will come out in Maharashtra, and that's probably what we're going to see when the earlier numbers are going to come in Maharashtra, which shows that the BJP has got a higher numbers here. Obviously, many answers of the questions going to get in today in Maharashtra, so especially particularly these questions remain to who are the favorite in Maharashtra. I'm talking in perspective of the two important parties, that is NCP and Shiv Sena, two factions we have seen in last few months here. And that's the reason now the main question is that which faction has got maximum vote here. That the question actually was arised in Maharashtra's political arena since last 2.5 years. Probably you've seen where the Shiv Sena has got the two different parties, and NCP has also divided into two. And probably today we'll get some of the answers here. But the other important factors that this in Maharashtra, probably the battle of the narrative as well. If you go back to the parliament election in April, and probably that time we have seen the narrative set by the Mahavikas Aghadi and the India Alliance. They've got the benefit of it. As a result, we have seen here that the BJP has got only half of the seat what they've got in 2019 parliamentary election. And since then, BJP is very cautious about it. What they have done is absolute micromanagement in all the assembly constituencies. At the same time, the allied partners that they have, the Shiv Sena, Shinde camp, and of course Ajit Pawar, NCP camp also, all these two parties also BJP has got gel quite well, and that's the reason probably we may see this time around some of the different numbers. Obviously, the numbers that we are seeing right now are not the final numbers, but probably we may see that these are the initial trends. And as I'm talking to you, and as I told you already, that the micromanagement is what the BJP and the Mahayuti alliance is more focused on. That's the reason we may see some of the different results. But of course, this is not a quite easy task for the Mahavikas Aghadi, because in Maharashtra it's quite a neck-to-neck fight. That's what most of the political pundits have already explained. Various factors in Maharashtra, the people have actually kept in mind before casting their vote. First of all, of course, the caste issue in Maharashtra, which has raised the Maratha reservation factor, predominantly in the Marathwada region, we can say, that may decide the fate of the candidates there. Apart from that, the farmer issues also, the MSP issue, particularly in Vidarbha region, also quite the important aspect where the farmers is quite keeping close tab on it. The second important aspect, the popular schemes announced by the government. Obviously, the current government have announced most of the popular scheme here, keeping in mind the women voters. At the same time, we may have seen that the Congress have also eyed for it, and that's the reason when they announced their manifesto, we have seen the same replica of those schemes here with added numbers, and of course,
right,
what the India Alliance and Congress have said that they will implement this. So obviously, these are important factors that based in Maharashtra's election when people will see to it, and that's the reason. Be it Mahayuti or Mahavikas Aghadi, both the alliances have tried really hard to get people attention on all these issues. Now, of course, the election have already taken place here. Today, we'll see the result, that how people have convinced, with the poll promises these political party have made.
Right, Shishir, please do continue to stay with us while we get some updates from Jharkhand, Ranchi as well. Akshay continues to be there from outside a polling booth. Akshay, the exit polls predicted a very close contest, but these initial trends that we're looking at, BJP also moving sharply ahead in these postal ballots in Jharkhand as well. How are you tracking the trends?
Well, you're absolutely right. In fact, Shubhendu, when we talk about the exit polls, the elections in Haryana especially have told one thing, that the exit polls cannot be right all the times, and in fact they were absolutely wrong when it came to the kind of predictions that they made with showing a sort of a victory for the India Alliance. However, when the results came out, they were absolutely opposite to what the exit polls were saying. So while yes, you are right that the exit polls were showing that there will be a tight contest between the India Alliance as well as and the NDA. However, the trends that we are seeing is giving a strong lead to the BJP and its allies in the state. And now these were certain factors that were quite evident when it comes to a state like Jharkhand and the issues that the people are facing. Because Shubhendu, when you talk about the kind of 5 years that have gone by, under Hemant Soren and the Congress party, they have not seen a lot of development for a state, for one of the youngest state of India, Jharkhand. Jharkhand Jharkhand requires a lot of things. Jharkhand requires roads, Jharkhand requires hospitals, Jharkhand requires good quality education, colleges, probably universities, good medical institutes. And if you look at the last 5 years, not much has been done when it comes to a state like Jharkhand is concerned. The only factors that were the key focus were probably when it comes to the natural resources were about taking things from Jharkhand and not giving it back to the state. And that is what other people have been saying. That the Jharkhand hasn't gotten its fair share of development when it comes to the Hemant Soren government is concerned in the last 5 years. So that has been a major polling issue, along with infiltration issue that has been rigged up by the people time and again. So it seems that has hit the poll prospects of
That's right, Akshay,
Hemant Soren government. Against the first Chief Minister of the state, Babulal Marandi, who is also contesting this time.
That's right. Akshay, please do stay with us. Some 34 seats trends are coming in out of 81 in Jharkhand. BJP leading on 19. Aditi, again, looking at the political background of Jharkhand, since its formation, a state so badly in need of development interventions, political stability is something that it has been craving. Some 9 different governments across 14 years.
Yeah. Absolutely.
In fact, news just coming in, I think news is coming in. Maharashtra BJP is leading on 10 seats. Meanwhile, Jharkhand BJP is leading on the Nala seat. JMM won the seat last time. There's a sharp lead that the BJP is maintaining. BJP's Amit Kumar Mandal leading from the Doordarshan Assembly seat in Jharkhand. Those are updates coming in from the eastern state of Jharkhand as we speak. BJP's Narayan Das also leading from the Deoghar reserve seat. 81 assembly seats in Jharkhand to be taken. 41 simple majority. BJP is leading on 20 seats. Some over 34 seats trends have just come in. These are initial trends. The EVM counting would have started at 8:30. JMM, Hemant Soren's party, is leading on 7 seats. Jharkhand, the BJP, like Maharashtra, maintaining a sharp initial lead. It's leading on the Nala seat. JMM won the seat last time. Amit Kumar Mandal is leading from the Godda Assembly seat. That's the update coming in from the eastern state of Jharkhand. Aditi, the point that I was mentioning about the kind of political stability that the state has been craving for multiple governments in the initial years of its formation, then some semblance of stability with Hemant Soren's government, but again, serious charges of corruption that he had to face.
Yeah, I think Jharkhand has never really politically settled down so far. In fact, that has been one of the major political narratives of the BJP in Jharkhand, that you need political stability for development because that's the first ingredient of sustainable development. Jharkhand, of course, as one of your correspondents was mentioning, a hotbed of Naxal terror. And a lot of efforts have been made in Jharkhand in order to stem that kind of Naxal terrorism. And Union Home Minister has repeatedly said that Naxalism in India is on its last legs. So that's a very heartening sign for a state like Jharkhand. But the point is whether the electorate of Jharkhand will deliver a decisive verdict today, because that is what will determine the trajectory of development going forward. As you very correctly said, that stability and lack of stability is the difference between development and lack of development. So going forward, you have to see that you have political stability, and BJP has made that pitch during its election speeches. All the leaders have said it. Plus, most importantly, Shubhendu, the factor that has gone a little unnoticed in Jharkhand is, the lack of realization of aspirations of the scheduled tribes, because it's a scheduled tribe dominated area.
Yes.
And in fact, when all parties conducted their surveys before the Jharkhand elections this time, they realized that STs are the decisive factor in Jharkhand. And that was the reason that even the BJP tweaked its entire election strategy to focus on alleged illegal immigration into the Santhal Pargana region, which became the main political plank of the BJP in Jharkhand. Now, how does Hemant Soren counter that? So it was a clash of identities. On one side, it is the BJP saying that the tribal identity is being undermined, that the tribal population is decreasing across the state. Right. And in fact, the State High Court is hearing a very important case on this illegal immigration, where the MHA has in its affidavit submitted that the proportion of tribals in Jharkhand's population has come down from 44% in 1951 to 22% now. So what are the reasons? You have to assess the causes. How do you assess the causes? Only when you have a government which wants to assess the causes.
Right, but Aditi, Hemant Soren also uses the tribal card as a personal defense for all the charges of corruption. He makes it about Adivasi pride. How do you see that playing out? Each side using that particular tribal
So see,
card.
when I look at the trends, Shubhendu, that appear to be going in favor of the BJP, what I realize is that you can perpetrate, dynastic legacy. What is Hemant Soren? He is the son of Shibu Soren, who was the leader of the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha movement, the father of the Jharkhand state. Shibu Soren was a stalwart in his own right, but how much and for how long will you exploit the fact that you are the son of Shibu Soren? What is your identity beyond that? So there is an expiry date to all kinds of narratives. Of course, Hemant Soren is a tribal. Of course, he is the son of Shibu Soren. But beyond that, what is he? Has he delivered for the tribals? So I think now is the time when the scheduled castes of the state would have, by now would have started actually assessing whether the tribal legacy which Hemant Soren represents means anything to them, or does it mean everything to him?
Right.
So that's the difference.
Right. So such outcomes of who's going to be the final face and representative of the tribal aspirations is going to be decided. Aditi, thanks very much for now for joining us. We'll keep coming back to you in the course of our programming. Thank you also to our reporters Akshay, Shishir and Shama. We'll keep connecting to you through the day as more trends coming in. But still to come on DD India News Hour.